bullpen. His last 5 home starts, he's pitched very, very well. 28 2/3 innings, 29 strikeouts. Be on the lookout for that curveball. It's his calling card, a very, very unique breaking ball.
Nathan Lucas leading it off again for the Blue Jays, and he takes a fastball low for ball 1. And we are underway. It is 36 Celsius with the humidity making it feel more like 40. Lucas pulls a ground ball to the right side. A backhanded stop by the first baseman Mayo. He feeds Morton at the bag. 1 down. Defensively for the Orioles here in Game 1 of the doubleheader. Game 1. And here's Davis Schneider. Swings at the first pitch and sends one a mile up in the air in foul territory. And the catch is made by the catcher, Jackson. And very quickly, 2 down in the top of the first, bringing Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to the plate. Another home run last night.
Loved his swing in last night's game. Look at the balance. Look at the finish that Vladdy had. A lot of times when you are struggling, big swing from the big fella. Hopefully he's on to big things.
The numbers are climbing, as you can see, on a 9-game hitting streak coming into this one, and he's hitting .463 over those 9 games with 7 extra base hits, 4 doubles, 3 home runs. He has come out swinging out of the All-Star break. Takes that one for a strike. 1-1. That over a decent stretch there, and on-base percentage well over 500, still taking his walks. I'm going to run in on him. Ball 2, a changeup there from Morton that really moved quite a ways in off the inside corner. Still throws 95, as we saw in the first pitch of the game to Nathan Lucas. Still has the good curveball. Really struggled at the beginning of the season. Good pitch there. Cutter, a little down and away, 2-2. Could be making his last start as an Oriole. There's Sellers, and like we said about Zach Eflin, would a team want to pick up Charlie Morton? Now, he's 41 years old, but he's not signed beyond this year. Would you want to take him on as kind of a back end of the rotation guy?
Been reading a lot about him, that a lot of teams are interested just because of his track record, his experience. He is pitching well as of late. Would be a really good solid add for someone on the back end of their rotation. Has won a couple of World Series. Houston 2017, Atlanta 2021. Shakes off Jackson a couple of times. And again. And misses low. He threw Guerrero a 3-2 curveball, and Vladdy, who is second in the American League in walks, will head down to first. It's something that Vladdy has been doing this entire season. He's been so selective at the plate. At times, it's cost him some of that aggressiveness, but his ability to not chase has allowed the Blue Jays to really build innings, even with 2 outs. So now here's Bichette, who is 9 for 10 his last 2 games. Looked like Bo was taking all the way as Morton gets a call on the corner then. They're 0-1. Bichette 4 for 5 last night, 5 for 5 on Sunday in Detroit. Set a franchise record with 9 consecutive hits. A little bit of magic wand stuff going on here and there. A couple of atypical softly hit balls off the bat of Bichette, but they found some grass. He's also reached base in 20 consecutive games. That is 1 shy of his career high. Goes after that one, 1-2. A lot of cutters in the early going here for Morton. Guerrero the lead at first, 2 down.
And the 1-2 to Bichette is down and away.
Stuff looks up for Morton, and I wonder if he's really trying to audition here, much like I felt like Severino was trying to audition back in Sacramento. At his age, at 41 years old, I doubt that he wants to hang around Baltimore in a losing season.
Fastball that Bichette fouls off. Another 95 there for Morton.
And so you're trying to really prove to some of these evaluators or executives, hey, there's still quite a bit in the tank. I want to really show you what I'm capable of. Maybe 2.5 months ago, he was thinking more longevity, trying to hold some back for 30, 33, 35 starts. But now's the time when you're trying to showcase your best stuff.
Third oldest guy in the big leagues, Rich Hill, number 1, Justin Verlander, number 2, Charlie Morton, number 3, Max Scherzer, number 4. So yeah, winning time is now if you're Charlie Morton. You want to be on a good team, could be the last couple of months of your big league career. Step off. Looks like he just maybe wasn't, I don't think that had anything to do with Guerrero, maybe just thinking about what pitch he wanted to throw. Now ready. Fly ball to center field. Mullins drifting back towards left center will haul it in. And that's that in the top of the first. Kiss is back with the Blue Jays, just called up today. He'll make his first big league appearance since the last day of May. He's had 5 outings with the Blue Jays this year, Caleb. 3 of them great, 2 of them rough. No middle ground for Easton Lucas.
So much of it has to do with getting in the zone and staying aggressive and making the opposition really put that ball into play. It's going to come down to that 4-seam changeup combination. When he's in the zone with the 4-seam, it speeds up the bats. He's able to drop that changeup underneath. Don't be afraid of contact and early contact. They're looking at probably 3 innings, hopefully from Lucas, probably somewhere around 60, 65 pitches.
Jordan Westberg swinging at the first pitch and lines it to deep right center. And that ball is back in play. Looked like it hit the top of the wall and then stayed in the field of play. And that'll be a double for Westberg on the first pitch he sees. And now the umpires are going to have a little conversation here to see if that ball actually got out. Tony Mansolino, the manager, is out of the dugout talking to them. If it just bounced straight up in the air and came back, it's in play. If it hit that green wall behind, it's a home run. And this will be a crew chief challenge or a crew chief review.
And this is a very finicky part of the stadium. There is a walkway in between there, so it's not back-to-back. The first wall you see that's white and then that darker green wall behind it, there is space in between. And I have seen multiple balls hit the...
So this one is being reviewed in New York. It'll either be a double or a home run, whatever it was. Jordan Westbrook, who had 3 hits in last night's game, got after it. A first pitch 95-mile-an-hour fastball that Westbrook hit hard to right center.
After review of the call, the field is confirmed. The ball is live and in play from our second base.
So it is a double. And again, that does not cost the Orioles a challenge or anything like that. That is a crew chief review. So Westberg at second, and now Ramon Laureano. A different-looking Baltimore lineup today. Tony Mansolino has some of his left-handed bats on the bench. 6 right-handed batters in there against Lucas. Lucas was on the IL down in the minors recently. Came off a couple of weeks ago. Had a groin injury. And made 2 outings in the Florida Complex League rookie ball. And then 2 more with Buffalo. He went 3 innings in each of them. Got up to 59 pitches in the second one. But he is actually on 3 days rest. He last pitched on Friday, the 25th. So, as you said, 3 innings. If they could get 4 innings, maybe twice through the order, I think they would happily take that. Here's a short hop play, and Guerrero goes to third. They got him in a rundown, but nobody is at second. So Guerrero threw to third to Wagner, but neither Clement nor Bichette could get to second in time, and Westberg dives back in.
A really unique play here as the ball's hit to Vladdy. Vladdy reads it correctly, throws it all the way across, but in the meantime, watch the middle infielders. Look at Clement going towards first base to try and back up that play. When he vacates, now Clement is not able to get back. You could see Bichette trying to retreat and recover. That's unfortunate because it was a bad read at second base by Westberg. It was a really good play by Vladdy, but they're not able to really complete it.
So it'll be a fielder's choice, and now the Orioles have 2 on with nobody out for Gunnar Henderson. Henderson went 0 for 4 with a walk in last night's game. Has not hit lefties nearly as well this year. Just a .220 average and an OPS under 600 against righties. He's a .308 hitter with an OPS over 900. And Easton Lucas needs an out here early. First and second with nobody out in the bottom of the first. There's a strike. 96 at the knees, 2-1. Lucas taking the spot on the roster of Justin Brule, who was optioned to Buffalo today. Lazaro Estrada is the 27th man, so he is available for both games of the doubleheader. And we expect Paxton Schultz, who is here, to be activated off the IL and be part of the roster in the second game of the doubleheader, with quite possibly Lucas just going back down to AAA. Now 3-1 on Henderson. With Chris Bassett only going 2 1/3 last night, the bullpen had to work hard, and they'll need some innings out of Lucas and then presumably Estrada behind him. Popped up foul, but this will get out of play. 3-2. The Orioles swinging the bats better of late, and part of that is they had the Rockies in here over the weekend and they roughed them up, but then they hit 4 homers and scored 11 runs in this game last night. They have won 3 in a row, and when they love to play spoiler a little bit. That gets to the backstop. It's ball 4 as Lucas sails one over the head of Ali Sanchez, and now it's bases loaded, nobody out.
Looks like that ball might have slipped out of the hand of Lucas, and in these temperatures during the day, it's very easy to start feeling that moisture right around the palm area that leaks right into the fingers. Probably going to see the pitchers really using that rosin bag. You can see he's wearing the sleeves trying to alleviate some of that moisture.
Here's Tyler O'Neill, who has homered in each of his last 3 games. Didn't play in last night's game. The overall number is not good. O'Neill's been on the IL 3 different times this year. Always seems to battle injury issues. You can see he's only appeared in 37 games. obviously a guy with power. If he gets a hold of it, he can hit it a long way.
I'd love to see O'Neill and Barger in the weight room with a bench press off. I got our guy.
1-2 on O'Neill, who hit 31 home runs with the Red Sox last year. Has hit as many as 34 in a season. The Orioles' third big league team. The native of Burnaby, BC. Inside at 97 there from Lucas. It's 2-2. A double, a fielder's choice, and a walk, and the bases are loaded with nobody out in the bottom of the first. 3-2. Westberg at third, Laureano at second, and Henderson at first. Line to left field, and that's going to be caught by Loperfido. Westberg will tag and come home, and the sac fly gives the Orioles a 1-0 lead.
Lucas in a tough spot here in the first inning. Bases loaded, 3-2 count. You really got to give in at this point. And when you're in this type of situation, you really want to make sure you limit the damage. And if he's able to really put this ball on the ground, maybe get a strikeout or a pop fly, I think the Blue Jays and Lucas would take bases loaded, no outs, only giving up one run. But you really got to continue to attack the zone. And what I've seen with Lucas so far in his tenure with the Blue Jays is when he gets couple hits given up in the inning, that's when he starts to kind of scatter the zone and really compound the issue. Right here is a great opportunity to get in the zone early, force contact, don't be afraid of being in the zone.
Ramon Arias lines one into left, a base hit, and the runners each up 90 feet, so they are loaded again.
So Westberg swings at the first pitch, and then Arias comes up and hammers this breaking ball middle down. It's still okay. You're still okay, as Pete Walker's going to come out and have a chat and settle things down. But because of that sacrifice fly, you're still in a good position. This is the perfect time as a youngster that you start feeling for the zone and start really trying to make perfect pitches. Keep at it. Stay with it. You got to continue to be in the zone. You're getting close to the bottom of the order. You have a left-on-left match after Mayo, so there's some spots here, but this game has really got to be held at this point, especially when you're going to play 18 in one game in one day.
That left-on-left matchup is with Cedric Mullins, who's actually hit lefties pretty well this year. Overall, just .221, but again, a good night last night, a double and a home run. Wagner in on the grass at third, Guerrero sneaking in at first. And Lucas desperately trying to minimize the damage here in the bottom of the first. Swing and a miss, 0-1. And down and away to even it up. Just never know, had they been able to get an out on that ground ball to first, how things might have turned out differently. There's no way to know. Foul it off, 1-2. Guerrero going for the lead runner, got it to third in plenty of time, but then Westberg turned around, went back to second before either middle infielder could get there. That is outside, 2-2. 3-2. Another full count, and again, the bases are loaded. There's nowhere to put Mullins. Lucas up to 22 pitches already. Foul back. Told you last night, another guy who might be in his final couple of days is an Oriole, another guy whose contract is up at the end of the season. And another foul back by Mullins. You can see Lucas is hitting some pretty good spots in this at bat, but Mullins is up to the task right now.
Yeah, 2-3-2 sliders dotted down and away. You can see the sequence here. Really tried to get after him with the four seam early. 2 really good 3-2 sliders. Typically that will induce whiff. Mullins giving him fits.
And then gets a piece of a fastball to stay alive.
We've seen the Blue Jays do this time and time again to opposing pitchers, build an inning, start to wear them down. It's hot and steamy outside. Really got to stay mentally engaged here. Keep making good pitches. Try and bail your team out of this tough jam.
3-2 again. And a high fly ball to left center. Loper Fido is underneath it, will make the catch. And it'll be another sac fly as Laureano comes in to score to make it 2-0.
You got to give Mullins a ton of credit. Really battled 3 really well executed pitches from Lucas. Is able to get one in the heart of the plate, send it to left center field. Early on in his career, he would bail on some of those left-handed sliders that Lucas was offering, but Mullins stays with it, is rewarded with the sac fly.
So this feels like a huge at-bat. Can he get Kobe Mayo and keep this at just 2? Mayo had a big night last night, 3 for 4 with a home run, a 23-year-old who's got just 137 big league at-bats. Most of them this year, did get a little bit of time last year. He's a big, strong, young guy. Looks like he's got a lot of power.
And he's on the plate, and he strides to open, and so he kind of baits you into wanting to go in there. Typically, when guys are on the plate, they want the ball on the inner half. So you got to be really careful going in there, in or in off.
Down low, 2-0. Mayo's got 3 big league home runs, including the one last night. His first big league homer came off a position player, of all things. Numbers 2 and 3 coming off pitchers. In there, fouled off, 2-1. So that was a little bit in off the plate.
A little bit of run, a little bit of tail. And it's a high-risk, high-reward pitch. If you can get it, especially with some movement on the inner half, you can meet more of the label part of the bat. But if you miss it on the inner third, it's right to the barrel.
Grounded back to Lucas. He's got it and will make the play to Guerrero, and that will end the inning. The Orioles get 2 here at the bottom of the first. one of the nicer ballparks. I shouldn't call it a stadium. One of the nicer ballparks that you will find around the major leagues. Love the warehouse. Dan Schulman, Caleb Joseph, Arden Zwelling. 2-0 Orioles, top of the second. Addison Barger leading it off. And Barger, Caleb, is going through it a little bit right now. Last 4 games, 2 for 17. Both are extra base hits, but 6 strikeouts. What are you seeing in how teams are attacking him?
They have really been pitching him up and in close to him, and I feel like that's a zone that looks really good to his eye, but the way his swing works, it's probably not a zone he really wants to try and attack.
And then in under his hands with a cutter, 2-2.
And then they drop the slow stuff on the same lane, so it's really tunneling. They're using tunneling to their advantage. They're throwing up close to him, getting him sped up, and then starting it in that lane. He has had a little bit of success when they've tried to go soft away because he's able to adjust a little bit, but when they stay on that inner lane, it's been tough for him.
A ground ball backhanded out at short by Gunnar Henderson, who will throw him out 1 down. So is there an adjustment that he can make to try to counteract it?
Well, you've either got to not swing at it or put your body in a position to hit it 500 feet down the right field line and kind of scare them out of it. And it's easier said than done. It's easy to say, don't swing at it, but when you see it and it's on the inner lane and you want to pull, easy pitch to release on.
Ernie Clement hitting 6th and playing second base today, 278 on the season. Ernie went 1 for 4 with a base hit in last night's game. Breaking ball grounded to short, and another play for Henderson. And so far, Charlie Morton's getting some soft contact off the bats of the Blue Jays. Two quick outs here in the top of the second, and it'll bring up Joey Loperfido, who went 1 for 3 last night. And a ground ball to third, right at Urias. And Morton gets out of the heat quickly here, right back to the dugout, and Easton Lucas has to head right back to the mound.
First, I'd also expect the Blue Jays to option Lucas between games, activate Baxton Schultz to provide some cover for Game 2, but you know the strategic element is going to get really interesting here for John Schneider. The Blue Jays are down 2. How aggressive will he be with his bullpen in the game if that remains the case? How will he balance staying close enough to potentially win this game while keeping enough powder dry for Game 2?
That is a great question, Arden, because, yes, Jeff Hoffman and Yariel Rodriguez are very rested, but I don't know about you, Caleb. I would be shocked if they used either one of those guys in both ends of the doubleheader. I just don't think they're going to do it. So if you know you've only got them once, and maybe you've got them for more than 3 outs, given how rested they are. But as Arden says, what if you're down by a run in the 7th, and then you go to Rodriguez, and then you go to Hoffman, and then you still lose the game? It's almost better to get beaten a little bit, blown out a little bit and not use those guys, so you could load up for the second game.
You almost want a lopsided win or loss in this game so that you can really prepare for game 2. And it might come down to how much they trust Eric Lauer.
Easton Lucas threw 30 pitches in the first inning, and best guess would be maybe that he's got 60 to 70 in him here today. And that's under ideal weather conditions. Maybe, who knows, a little bit less if he's out there a long time again here in the bottom of the second. Colton Cowser leading off the bottom of the second, and it's another full count. We saw a few of these in the bottom of the first. And the Blue Jays only saw 8 pitches in the top of the second, so it wasn't even as if Lucas had a long time to kind of cool off in the dugout. Way foul down the right field line and into the upper deck. It's funny, they had 5 starts coming into this series where they had gotten almost 35 innings, 34 1/3 innings out of their 5 starters, and the bullpen was in great shape. Looked like he went, and he did. Cowser goes around for the first out of the inning. But then Bassett going 2 1/3, and whoever it is, you have one bad start, and then you compound that with a doubleheader the next day, and all of a sudden things can look so different just 24 hours later.
That's why the number one job of a manager is to try and manage that bullpen, and you're always trying to safeguard against starts like Bassett so that you can keep your bullpen ready. John Schneider's done such a great job of that, but sometimes you get put and boxed into a corner. And he's had that. He is. It's just amazing how in 24 hours it can totally flip-flop. You feel great. You're sitting in the manager's chair before the game, and you know this is good, this guy's on great rest, and you feel great about it.
Here's Alex Jackson, who is catching today. He pops one up, and Ernie Clement is back to make the catch for out number 2. Ernie is another guy who doesn't love sunglasses, and infielders will tell you that it's that fraction of a second when they're wearing sunglasses. When you're an infielder, the ball comes off the bat, and it just takes you a fraction of a second longer to pick up the ball. And you can see he was battling the sun, but some infielders just don't feel comfortable that their reactions are as good with sunglasses on.
Very true. Remember those old school flip down?
Yeah.
Those were cool.
Back to the top of the order for Jordan Westberg, who hit the first pitch he saw for a double in the first, eventually came in to score. Lucas and Ali Sanchez are familiar with one another, both of them Sanchez has been at Buffalo almost the entire season, and Lucas has been at Buffalo for most of the season, although he did miss some time in the IL, so Lucas has certainly pitched to Sanchez before. Westberg lifts one to center field. Lucas is back. Nathan Lucas is back. We got 2 Lucases in there for the Blue Jays, and he'll make the catch, and Easton Lucas has a much-needed 3-up. They should have a Mr. Splash promotion night here in Baltimore.
Wow.
He's got his floaty. He's good to go.
The floaty.
If you were sitting in the seats today, would you wear a bucket hat?
No question. In that section. Getting sprayed.
100%.
No doubt.
Will Wagner leading off the third. Since this one down the left field line, but it'll find the seats. A Giant fan, a bucket hat, somebody spraying you with water. Maybe a drink or two, maybe a pint.
For sure.
And we're good to go.
And a nap right after.
Yes. Take a 2-hour nap and then another game tonight. Had a chance to talk with Will a little bit about being in Cooperstown over the weekend. It's the first time that Will had ever been to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Of course, his dad, Billy, inducted into Cooperstown over the weekend. The whole family was there. Will is one of 4 kids, 3 boys and a girl, and had a great time. And obviously thought the experience was really cool. Not the easiest place to get in and out of, but was away from the team for a couple of days for a very good reason. This one will back up Westberg at second. He'll make the play from the outfield grass. 1 down. And, one of Charlie Morton's nicknames is Ground Chuck. Chuck for Charlie. Ground because when he's on, he gets a ton of ground balls. He's gotten 7 outs today, and 5 of them have been on the ground.
One of those unique combos of kind of sinker curveball. Most of the time you kind of hear of the sinker slider type pitcher, and his sinker does have quite a bit of run. It can really confuse you as a hitter. And then that hybrid curveball, it is listed as a curveball, but as a hitter, and I faced Charlie Morton, it feels like a hybrid curve and a slider. It has the bend of a curveball, but the lateral movement of a slider. And it's really difficult to really time up, and especially when he throws that runner in on your hands, because you got to move that barrel out front. And you see it. You see that breaking ball really well, and you just think it's about to hang. And then right when you get about into the hitting zone, it's down, away, and underneath your bat. He's a tough AB, especially when he's got good stuff, and he's got good stuff tonight.
A real turnaround from April. He had a 10.89 ERA after 5 starts. Came out of the rotation, made 6 starts out of the bullpen, went back into the rotation at the end of May, partially because they don't have a lot of options. They've had some injuries and other guys who haven't pitched well, but he's been significantly better since he came back into the rotation, other than 2 starts ago against Tampa Bay. Fair ball off the bat of Ali Sanchez and all the way down the left field line. And the first hit of the afternoon for the Blue Jays will be a double for Sanchez.
Loud contact off of the catcher. Sanchez gets a hanging breaking ball towards the middle of the plate, and he meets barrel to baseball. And when you are kind of recalled and come back up and you get your name put in that lineup, you want to do something behind the plate, but man, it feels so good to contribute on offense, especially early in the game when your team's down, trying to really pressure Charlie Morton.
And now Tony Mansolino, the manager, is out in conversation with home plate umpire Mark Ripperger. And Drew French, the pitching coach, is on his way to the mound. And Mansolino is very unhappy about something. And still getting into Ripperger, who gave him a little bit back in his direction before Mansolino went back into the dugout. Did you see anything going on?
I did not. I am trying to figure this out. Huh. And Mansolino is typically pretty calm, cool, and collected. Was tossed not too long ago in Tampa. But usually very even-keeled. To see him kind of really jump on home plate umpire Mark Ripperger is must have been something egregious that he saw. The ball was clearly fair.
Yeah.
I didn't see any close pitches before that.
No, our great crew in the truck will dig around with the video a little bit to see if they can find anything. We'll see if we can figure it out. But back to play here as Nathan Lucas steps in. So second time through the order now. Lucas, the first batter to see Morton for the second time. Hit a ground ball to first in the first. In there for a strike, 1-1. Lucas with his 8th home run of the season in last night's game. And again, could have had another one his next time up, but for a great play by Cedric Mullins. Lucas with 3 home runs in his last 5 games. Continuing to do a very good job at the top of the order against righties. Bounces this one back towards the mound. An easy play for Morton. That'll be the second out as Sanchez comes to third. And now 6 ground ball outs for Charlie Morton. So with 2 outs, Morton is going to face Davis Schneider, who was DHing today. For people who weren't with us at the beginning of the show, George Springer, thankfully, is okay and conceivably could even play tonight. The ball did just nick his shoulder before it hit him in the ear flap, and that may have helped just a little bit in terms of the severity of the impact. But you and I both saw George this morning, and just briefly, how you doing? And he said, I'm okay. So in the moment, obviously, an extremely scary situation, but fortunately, Springer is all right. A check swing by Schneider. That's a ball and a strike.
Yeah, he told me you just get in that situation, you see the ball coming, and your body just kind of freezes and you get stuck. Very scary moment.
And a ground ball off the bat of Schneider. A nice play made at third, but a bad throw by Urias. The run will score, and Schneider is into second. A nice pick, but a bad throw, and the Blue Jays have their first run of the afternoon.
Yeah, his first initial movement to that ball, Urias at third base, is really good. Look at that little short hop. That's really nice, but as you can tell, he kind of palmed that baseball. He did not have a good four-seam grip. His fingers kind of got on top of that ball, space in between his ball and the palm, and you throw a dead fish changeup over there to first base. I've been there a million times. Could not complete the play. Good hustle by Schneider to force the issue.
That'll be a base hit and an RBI for Schneider, and then a throwing error on Urias, allowing Schneider to go to second. Now here's Guerrero, who walked in the first. And that is called a strike of the knees, and you can see Vladdy's displeasure. It's now 0-2. Back at Schneider at second. And Guerrero with a bouncer back to the mound. Another play for Morton. The Blue Jays get 1 and now trail 2-1 going to the bottom of the third. And it's 2-3-4 here for the Orioles against Easton Lucas in the bottom of the third. Ramon Laureano reached on a fielder's choice and came in to score. We believe what Tony Mansolino may have been upset about is that they were having a pitch-com issue, and an Orioles ball boy wanted or tried to take a pitch-com device, a new pitch-com device, out to the mound to Charlie Morton, and it appears was not allowed to do that. As Laureano pops one foul down the line and out of play. And that as a result, that's why the pitching coach, Drew French, came out of the dugout and went to the mound, and it cost the Orioles a mound visit. We think that may be what was going on.
Would make sense. I've never seen a pitch-com issue not be figured out without a mound visit.
Yeah.
Typically, the umpire comes and meets with everybody involved, says, go ahead, switch it out.
Yeah. So if that's what it was, you can understand why Mansolino was upset.
The good thing is, I don't know about you, Dan, but since they introduced PitchCom, I haven't seen a team run out of mound visits.
And they reduced it a couple of years ago from 5 down to 4. You're only allowed 4 in a game. Line drive left field. And Laureano with a base hit. Again, if he's a guy who's trying to impress contenders and wind up on a good team in a couple of days, he's doing a really good job.
Obviously likes slow breaking balls moving close to him. Parked one to left field off of Brendan Little. Really tough breaking ball down and in. This one's another breaker from Lucas, moving middle down. I'd really like to see something moving soft away from Laureano his next AB. Maybe that changeup.
Now Gunnar Henderson, who walked in the first, swings through a high fastball. There's nothing wrong with Lucas's velocity. He's sitting 95, 96. He has touched 97. There's been a little bit of hard contact in this game as well. 95 up and in, a ball and a strike.
Not a day you have to worry about getting loose.
No. It is hot. Towels out to keep that padded railing. It's probably getting smoking hot down there. Is day-night doubleheader on a day like this, and it was scheduled this way months ago after a rainout in April, is day-night with 3 hours in between better than just a straight-up doubleheader in the evening?
Yes, 100%. Those back-to-backs are much more grueling.
And it would probably start at like 4 o'clock if they were just going back-to-back. So.
Now, you're not necessarily battling the elements in terms of heat as much, but that break in between is massive. It almost feels like 2 totally separate days. You'll go in, take a shower, totally get undressed, put new clothes on, eat something, probably take a 30-minute power nap, be in a dark area. It's almost like a total reset. Now, when you have the back-to-back, those are miserable because you don't even have enough time to really get undressed. You're pounding a hot dog or two, and you're coming right back out.
Lucas has fallen behind Henderson 3-1. Now 3-2. And again, this was because of a rainout in April. This was always scheduled to be night, day, but when the rainout happened, and it seemed like a good idea at the time because it was raining, but there was really no other spot to put this game other than during the day today and make it 4 games in like 42 hours. A lot of baseball in Baltimore in July. 52 pitches for Easton Lucas, and now Lazaro Estrada, the 27th man today. The player they brought up for the doubleheader is starting to get loose. Line to left, another base hit. Backhanded sliding stop by Loperfido, and that's a really good play by Loperfido out and left to keep Laureano at second.
Yeah, excellent play out there in left field by Loperfido. This ball's hit directly to left field off the bat of Henderson. It has got some high exit velocity. If you don't take a perfect route, you're not going to cut this ball off. Laureano's going to come in to score. Look at that direct route. That's a really tough play, being a right-handed left fielder. If you're a left-handed left fielder, you're able to kind of corral that on the open glove side, but having to turn his glove over, that was a really nice pick play. Bichette really showing appreciation for that play in left field by Loperfido.
2 on, nobody out, and Tyler O'Neill, the batter, had a sac fly in the first. Swings and fouls it off, a 92-mile-an-hour cutter, and it's 0-1. O'Neill, a right-handed batter. On deck, Ramon Urias, a right-handed batter, and then the left-handed hitting Cedric Mullins. As you said, because of the heat, it probably won't take Estrada very long to get loose out there. Sanchez needs a moment. One and one.
Watch the right hand, right off the thumb, left hand, excuse me. And a lot of times as a catcher, you've got that thumb protector in there, but if it catches you right at the right spot, it can really jam you up. You don't worry so much about the balls that you're catching. You've caught so many baseballs now that you're not going to kind of jam yourself up, but it's always the foul balls that your glove's in a certain position and it can hit right on that thumb pad, the long part of the glove, and it will just jam you straight back. I've got like permanent bone bruising in my left thumb because of all of those ricochets.
Up high, 2-2 on O'Neill.
Ricochet. Not ricochet, ricochet. A little bit of that southern drawl coming out every once in a while.
Little Nashville coming out.
Yes.
A look back and the 2-2. A check swing by O'Neill, and it's another full count.
It's a big inning right here. Really feel like you got to hold down this Orioles offense. They really pressured in yesterday's game, just kept coming after the Blue Jays pitchers, and if you can put up a 0 after your team scores, you can kind of send that momentum back into your dugout. Huge out right here for Lucas.
Full count pitch. Upstairs, ball 4, and the bases are loaded with nobody out. John Schneider's really between a rock and a hard place right now. They want to get as many pitches and outs out of Lucas as they can, just given the situation, but you also want to keep the game close. You're thinking about matchups. And it looks like, at least for the moment, Lucas is going to stay. Ramon Urias had a base hit off Lucas his first time up. It takes inside, ball 1. Swings through it, a ball and a strike.
You know, when I look at his stuff, at Easton Lucas stuff, if I was catching him, I'd really try and get that fastball changeup combo going. And he's thrown quite a few fastballs because he has a good one, but there's been a ton of sliders in there. And I think the way his arm action works, fastball changeup, is a good combo for him.
Fastball fouled off, 1-2.
And he's only thrown about 10 changeups so far in this game. And sometimes when you have a good fastball and it's hitting 95, 96, 97, you can sort of be baited in, as training staff's going to have to come out here and check on Urias as he fouls this ball off his foot. But I love kind of the push-pull repertoire that a left-hander at his size, Lucas that is, can do with the push and pull aspect of pitching. And sometimes I feel like he gets kind of stuck in fastball, and then maybe a slider to put away. But that fastball changeup could remind me a little bit of Cole Hamels and how he was able. I think he moves the way that Hamels moves a little bit. I'm not saying he's the same pitcher, but I like the way his body moves, and I just think it's an underused pitch for him, in my opinion.
Push-pull, you mean the velocity difference between the fastball and the changeup?
Absolutely, and he has great sell on it, too. And when it's in the zone, you're going to get some guys out in front, and being able to use that to his advantage, and then use the slider more as a back foot pitch for strikeout. I just think there's an opportunity to really incorporate more of that changeup from him when he's making starts for the Blue Jays.
In a jam here, bases loaded, nobody out, clearly near the end of his pitch limit. through 59 4 days ago, just 3 days rest, through 59 4 days ago with Buffalo. Hooked foul, still 1-2.
I mean, this is the perfect time.
Yeah.
You got a bit of a pulled fastball right there, 93. Urias is way out in front. To me, you've either got changeup or slider. I think they'll probably go slider, but I would be offering changeup. I'd be setting out over the plate.
And there it is, a ground ball weakly hit up the third baseline. A little decoy, too, by Sanchez. Slid in and then away. And with the changeup, that's what you're looking for, a rollover ground ball.
Exactly. You saw his body movement. It's all about kind of moving their eye line. He's able to move the eye line with the fastball going up, out, but then moving their body line, getting them off balance. There's just been too many comfortable swings with the stuff that he's featuring. I would always go back to sequencing and location when you have this type of stuff, because he's got a good fastball today.
1-2 again. Out of play. The pitches they are fouling off, they're popping up out of play. So they're extending at bats. 4 hits for the Orioles. Lucas has also walked 2. The 2 runs in the first came in on sacrificed flies. One, 2 again. And it's way out of play over the third base dugout. He went with a sweeper there, and you could see how out in front of it Urias was.
And so now as a catcher, he's in swing mode. You can tell right away he's wanting to go, he's in swing mode. The best place to go when you have a guy in swing mode for me is short. Right in front of the plate, short. Typically you can get a guy fishing down underneath when they're in swing mode.
Fastball, and it's in the air to left center field, not that deep. It will be Lucas to make the catch. Here comes Laureano. And not only will he score, but also Henderson alertly comes to third. So it's another sac fly, and it's 3-1 Orioles.
Well, Lucas with probably the stronger of the arm between he and Lo Perfido. He takes this ball, and Henderson's running right out the gate from second base. Vladdy slides over to really try and redirect that ball. The throw's a little bit high from Lucas in center field. It ends up being a bit of a busted play. Probably no play at third. A good read by Vladdy trying to get that ball over to third, but Orioles just continue to pressure.
Sanchez out from behind the plate. Let the infield know what they're going to do if O'Neill takes off from first. Infielders have come in for the Blue Jays. Middle infielders still could try to turn a double play. That's taken outside, ball 1. Strike. So if you're Lucas, you probably know this is your last batter. You just empty the tank here.
Empty it out.
Yeah. And another fly ball. Loperfido setting up to make the catch. Henderson will tag. I don't know what the MLB record for sac flies in a game is, but the Orioles have 4 already, and it showed you the importance of the 90 feet Henderson took on the last play.
Otherwise, that's a harmless fly ball to left field, and it was a risky move for Henderson to try and take off on Urias's sac fly. If Vladdy's able to redirect, I can almost guarantee you he would have been out at third base. That fly ball from Mullins right there would have been harmless, but Orioles are able to tag on another one.
And that will be the end of the afternoon for Easton Lucas. 2 2/3 and 4 runs allowed. And he will hand the ball to John Schneider. Lazaro Estrada will come in from the bullpen.
Slider, that four-seamer is going to be around 94, slider around 87. Need to be efficient.
Kobe Mayo, the batter, he takes a little bit low, ball one. Mayo grounded out in the first. 4 runs on 4 hits for the Orioles, and again, all 4 runs have scored on sacrifice flies. They just kept, as you said, putting the pressure on, moving runners, putting the ball in play, and not only putting the ball in play, with a runner at third and less than 2 outs, getting the ball in the air deep enough to bring a run home.
This inning has looked a lot like a Blue Jays typical 3, 4, 5 run inning they've had this year.
Slow curveball swung on and missed. 1-2.
Well, hello.
that got your attention.
That was not in the scattering report, and I guarantee you Mayo is looking back at the hitting coach going, "You didn't tell me about that slow, Uncle Charlie." He might have been watching Morton in the bullpen thinking, you know what, that looks like a good pitch. It's working against the Blue Jays. Maybe I'll incorporate that. That was really slow.
He threw 47 pitches in his Major League debut with the Blue Jays back at the beginning of July. 3 of those 47 pitches were curveball, almost entirely four-seam fastball and slider. Popped up. Wagner over near the railing, no play. It'll bounce on top of the dugout. Went back to the curveball.
And when you have a pitch that's 4, 5, 6%, you're trying to totally eliminate that. And so when you're batting and you get one of those 4, 5, or 6% pitches, it's almost inevitable. You see that hitter look into the dugout at the hitting coach. Oh, I'm the guy he chooses. Oh, perfect. Because I was sitting hard four-seamer slider there.
Again, the 1-2 and a fastball fouled back. They're just having good at-bats. A lot of 2-strike foul balls. Again, putting the ball in play, getting it in the air. Back to the curveball, but he missed high, ball 2.
Only 1 strikeout so far for the Orioles. And this is what pressure looks like. When you put the ball in play, good things can happen. You can start finding a couple holes. You can make some good base running decisions, and a seamless fly ball can end up being a sacrifice fly.
And given the situation where the Blue Jays are with their pitching, obviously the score matters, but really the most important thing is just pitch as long as you can get. And if they're not going to win this game, and it's early, it's only a 3-run deficit, but they've got limited resources here today. They will be activating Paxton Schultz for the second game. There's a swing and a miss. Estrada strikes out Mayo, retiring the first batter he faces. So the Orioles get 2 more and lead 4-1.
plate appearances right now is to not give away easy outs and make pitchers earn it when they get to 2 strikes on them.
And he has certainly done that. You see 35 pitches in 5 at-bats in a game, and that wasn't the game where he had the 13-pitch at-bat against Tarek Skubal. It was the next day. He certainly is making pitchers work hard these days. And he takes there, won't chase it. It's 2-0.
Last year we saw when he was kind of going through it, so many early count releases on a pitch just like that he would ground out. He's letting those go by, and he's really getting into more at-bats.
And he was taking that one all the way. 2-1.
And he's got to be ultra aggressive. It's just how his mindset works, how his approach works. But when he's ultra aggressive in a certain zone versus a certain pitch, that's when he's able to take those pitches.
You were with the Blue Jays in 2020, the COVID year. How is 2020 Bichette different than 2025 Bichette?
Well, he's obviously a little bit more aged and experienced in terms of, I think he's starting to refine his game plan, what he really wants to look for. I think when he first got to the big leagues, he was so talented and no one really knew him that he could just go up there and out-talent some of these pitchers.
Takes a walk. That'll extend another streak for Bichette. He has not struck out in his last 31 plate appearances. That is the second longest active streak in the majors right now, behind only Luis Arraez. Addison Barger now hit a ground ball to short his first time up. Again, a lot of ground ball outs for Charlie Morton right now. 9 outs, 7 of them on the ground. The Blue Jays run was driven in by Davis Schneider, as now Barger sends it to center. It's deep, and it's gone! First pitch swinging to the very deepest part of the ballpark here. Addison Barger with a 2-run homer, and all of a sudden the Blue Jays are back within 1.
We talked about teams kind of using that inner lane against Barger, and you got 1 of 2 options. You can either try and cheat out front and get to it, or you can take it. Well, what happens if the ball nestles right down the middle down on a breaker? That's exactly what happened to Barger, and he just put a charge into it all over that breaking ball.
What a big hit that is for the Blue Jays to get them back within 1 after the Orioles had just gotten 2 in the bottom of the 3rd. His 15th home run on the season. And now here's Ernie Clement. Hits it sharply out of the second baseman. Westberg makes a nice play. 1 down.
Check out this swing for Barger. Little hanging changeup out over. And when you've been wound up and you've been hammered on the inside part of the plate, to see that little floater up out over, ooh, that's like a cookie, like a huge beach ball coming at you. And when he gets extended, especially without a ton of drop, he's able to really stay through that baseball. So many guys will be a little bit out in front and they'll really throw that top hand, roll that ball over to the right side, but he's able to really stay through that baseball, and so much power when he holds that angle back in the backside. Even though he might be a little bit fooled, he can really hold those hands back, release them, meets barrel to baseball, and it's almost always going to.
Here's Joey Loperfido. And that's going to get through. Past a diving Henderson into left center. A 1-out single for Loperfido.
He's not afraid to use the left side of the field. Talking to him recently, he said, I really wanted to focus on my contact. And if you're going to be a contact hitter and really focus on that, you got to be able to take backdoor off-speed pitches to the opposite way. He does it perfectly. Looking out there, makes good contact, continues the inning for the Jays.
He's running. And it's a hit and run with Wagner at the plate, but it's fouled off by Wagner, 0-1. Pretty good speed in the runner, pretty good contact hitter with the plate. Why not give it a shot?
Love it.
The Third baseman Urias even with a bag, but about 35 feet off the line. Henderson playing up the middle as now Loperfido draws a throw. Joey with 10 stolen bases at AAA this year, caught only once. But again, that was a hit and run on the first pitch. And here's one line to left center field, and that's going to get down for Wagner. Loperfido makes the turn on his way to third, and a really good play made in the outfield by Kauser, throwing to the proper base, just spinning and firing to second to force Wagner to go back. But a good piece of hitting by Wagner as well.
Yeah, Kauser in left field really kind of made this play happen. Could have easily gotten past him, which Loperfido would have easily scored, but then being able to throw it into second base to keep Wagner at first, keep the double play alive. Great swing by Wagner. Doesn't try and do too much. Lets that ball travel, puts a good level swing on it. And now the Blue Jays are starting to really build their inning. Orioles have been building innings this entire game. Now the Blue Jays are starting to kind of feel out their game plan.
First and third, one out. Ali Sanchez bunts it foul. So they had the first and third safety squeeze on with Sanchez at the plate.
Saw that same play ran in Detroit. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was picked off at third base, was watching Loperfido at third base as soon as Sanchez squared, and he wanted to make sure that ball was down. If that's the play, you got to make sure the ball is down before you start your momentum at third base.
See if they keep it on. They won't. And it's down the right field line, but it'll slice foul off the netting deep in the corner. And it's 0-2.
When you're running a safety squeeze, say this situation first and third, as the third base runner, you're not making the play happen because you're being sneaky. The play is being happened because the ball is put in a certain spot. And if you're thrown out at home, it's on the bunter. It's not on you. You just cannot get picked off at third base. Obviously, they're not going to run that play here with 2 strikes. But as a third base runner in that situation, your number one priority is to see the ball down. If they bunt through it, you have to be able to get back. If they pull back, you have to be able to get back. Good base running by Loperfido there.
He's at third, Wagner at first, 1 out. Sanchez had a double his first time out. And this is where, if you're the Blue Jays, just like the Orioles have done, runner at third, less than 2 outs, find a way to get this guy in. Sanchez get a ball in the air to the outfield. Morton out in front, 0-2, and gets him swinging. 95-mile-an-hour sinker down and in, 2 outs.
It's just such a tough pitch to really get underneath, drop that back shoulder, because if this ball is put in play, it's almost guaranteed with that action to be on the ground to the pull side. Missed opportunity there.
First strikeout of the afternoon for Morton. And now back to the top of the order, Nathan Lucas, who has grounded out twice, once to first base and once back to the mound. Lucas has a big hole between third and short right now. Urias, the third baseman, is staying near the bag to try to keep Loperfido a little bit close. And you can see Henderson obviously playing the data, playing the percentages. He's shading Lucas up the middle. And we've seen Lucas hit a lot of balls to that 5-6 hole, if you want to call it that. Not on a pitch like that. 1-1.
And what that defensive alignment tells me is they're believing he's going to put the ball on the ground closer to the pull side. Well, if you're a pitcher or a catcher, you're probably trying to throw something close to him, maybe hard up and in, front hip sinkers. So sometimes the alignment can kind of tell you how the team is going to try and get you out. So as a hitter, you see that huge hole over there. He's able to block a pitch over there, but can your approach match up with what they're throwing you?
Swings through it, 1-2. Carlos Fabulous relaying the signs, making sure Loperfido with third. has it, reinforcing it verbally. Mark Budzinski doing the same with Will Wagner over at first. Runner goes. Wagner goes from first. They will throw through. Wagner stopped. Throw to the plate. In time to get him. And wondering if Loperfido is okay. Did he injure his left hand on that slide into home plate as the Blue Jays tried to steal a run? And Joey Loperfido looks like he may have injured his left hand. Wagner started, stopped once he drew the throw. Loperfido on his way to the plate, tagged out, and we'll check on him when we come back.
And his hand clearly went right into the foot of Jackson there. He was moving towards home as the ball was thrown. Sometimes there's a little leeway there. If you're set in the line and just waiting on the ball, that's a little bit different. Still very gray for me in that area.
Do you like the play call? It had gotten to 1-2 on Lucas, so Morton had gotten out in front of Lucas. And again, Wagner takes off, and his job is to stop once they draw the throw. Mm-hmm. If they hadn't thrown, then Will looks in, and then he just jogs to second base, but they decided to throw through. 3-0 now, the count on Polton Council.
Well, as a manager, you've got to kind of decide if you trust a little bit of the relay process. And here you can see Jackson moving into that area. It looks like he starts in front, and then as the throw's coming, there's movement into it. It's such a gray play for me still.
There's ball 4. On that angle, I think he was okay. I think he kind of put the foot in front after he had the ball. And you could, once you have the ball, you can do that, but then the runner can run you over.
So many times the home plate umpires would explain to me that they really are looking at the starting position. Where do you start at? And it looked like he had given him a lane before the throw was released and then started moving into it.
A leadoff walk issued by Lazaro Estrada here in the bottom of the 4th. And here's Alex Jackson hitting one down the left field line, but foul. Jackson, the backup catcher. When Adley Rutschman came off the IL yesterday, they DFA'd Jacob Stallings and kept Jackson, who was a former first-round pick.
Braves. Correct?
Came up with the Braves, but I think, he was drafted by Seattle originally, but Came up with the Braves in 2019. He's also been with the Marlins, the Brewers, the Rays. The Orioles are his 5th team in a 6-year big league career. And he's been swinging the bat well, hitting for power. He's got 7 hits in 26 at-bats, 4 doubles and 3 homers. Every hit he's gotten for the Orioles this year has been an extra base hit. Estrada out in front 0-2, and he gets Jackson swinging with a fastball on the outside corner.
Loved how he followed up that breaking ball with a fastball in the outer lane. So many times if you're not doubling up in the same zone, you can kind of play into a hitter's strength. Looked to me that entire at-bat, Jackson was really trying to slug to the pull side. They kept it away from him, able to get that swing and miss.
A base hit into left center on the first pitch to Jordan Westburg. His 2nd hit of the game and his 5th in the 2 games in this series.
He's probably the closest thing to a Bo Bichette, in my opinion. He just stays on the baseball so well, uses both sides of the field, is able to really kind of stay inside the ball, and that's just a big deal. You can spray the ball all over the yard when you're staying inside of it. When you start losing that bat head and the bat head starts out racing your hands, you can be vulnerable to the low left mid. Westburg has such a good bat plane. Reminds me a lot of Bichette and how the planes work.
2 on with 1 out, and here's Laureano. He'll take a stride. Laureano was 1 for 2. A fielder's choice, a base hit, and he scored twice. Through it 0-2, and that's not his A swing right there. He got fooled. And Estrada strikes him out on 3 pitches.
A very well located sequence right there from Estrada. And so many times when you get a sword swing the previous pitch, hitters will look for it. They'll think, man, I looked so bad on that. The pitcher's got to come back with it. But you can see Ali Sanchez wanted to try and elevate right there, and he dots it right on the inner part of the plate. Laureano a mile behind that pitch. Estrada's look good. This is exactly the type of outing the Blue Jays need. They need quick, high-paced, efficient innings to save some of this bullpen.
All 3 outs he's got today have been strikeouts, but now he's got to deal with Gunnar Henderson with a couple of men on. Henderson lines the ball to center, and it's caught by Lucas. Hard contact, but it finds the glove, and the Orioles do not score in the bottom. 4-3 Orioles here in the first game of the day-night doubleheader. And Nathan Lucas is back at the plate to begin the top of the fifth because he was up when Loperfido was tagged out at the plate as the Blue Jays tried the double steal first and third thing. And Loperfido was tagged out by Jackson. So Lucas, Schneider, and Guerrero, the top of the order here, top of the fifth. A one-run game. Hits are even at 5 apiece. Fly ball to left. Hauser drifting over towards the line, makes the catch.
Designated hitter number 36, David Schneider.
Now Davis Schneider popped up in foul territory and then had an infield hit that drove in a run in the third. Advanced to second on a throwing error. How old are you? 39?
Yes.
So this is one of the few, not this guy, Charlie Morton, one of the few remaining active major leaguers older than you.
Wow. Been doing it a long time. And I remember when Charlie Morton was in Pittsburgh, and it looked like he was right at the end. And he found the fountain of youth in Houston. And I feel like he looked totally different when I saw him. He, to me, looked like he copied Doc Holliday's wind-up, everything about his kind of repertoire. To me, it looked like he tried to copy him, and it took off.
This is his 399th career start over an 18-year career with 6 different teams, a 2-time All-Star. Some good years with Tampa Bay, too. You kind of forget he had a couple good years with the Rays. Another play at third. Urias has it, and this time makes the play. Got a little bit of help from Mayo at first. Schneider retired, 2 down. Here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Vladdy has walked and grounded out. Fouled back, and it's a ball and a strike on Guerrero. Charlie Morton faced Vlad Sr.
Wow.
Not a lot of guys can say they have faced father and son, but that's what I was looking this up because Morton's been around so long. He has faced Junior more, but he had 3 at-bats against Vlad Sr. That will be a base hit, just beyond the reach of Henderson, a 2-out single for Guerrero.
So it's just another great swing by Guerrero Jr. It's not powerful, but it's going to get the job done. And watch how short and quick he is to this baseball. He really has looked connected to me. And look at how his arms do not drop very low. About 4 or 5 games ago, it looked to me like he really shored that load up. And when that load would go all the way closer to his right hip, he was having a hard time really getting back on track. But he has really shortened that load up, and some of his A-swings are coming out.
So a man on with 2 down for Bo Bichette, who has flied out, and he walked and scored on the Barger home run of the 4th. Bo Bichette, the major league leader in hits after Aaron Judge went on the IL, and Bichette had 9 in the last couple of games to overtake him. This is popped up. Westberg is fighting the sun. It's going to drop. He never found it, and O'Neill may not have realized it or didn't come in quickly enough. Either way, it drops, and the Blue Jays catch a break, and they've got runners on the corners. And that has scored a base hit for Bichette.
Boy, with 2 outs, I'd really love to see both runners really giving it their all. You can see Vladdy. With the high sun out there, you just never know what could happen. We've seen this a couple times in the last couple games, and they are going to get another look at it here with Barger coming up. But, if you're really, really running hard at first base, you might have been able to round all the way and score there.
Now Barger gets a first pitch curveball and takes it for a strike. Hit a changeup out 428 feet to straightaway center his last time up. Now Westbrook has dropped the sunglasses on. He had them on the bill of his cap, didn't have them on. We see that a lot with players. They got them, but they don't use them, and then that happens, and then they put them on, and it happens. Morton out in front of Barger, 0-2. There by Jackson.
I remember wearing sunglasses behind the plate here in Baltimore, and you can see the shield there that Jackson has. That doesn't really do much, but I remember worrying about the sweat droplets dripping down onto the lens as a pitch was coming. It happened a couple times. You talk about being nervous. Holy cow.
That's an area where pitchers have been going a lot against Barger. It feels like to me anyways. Fastballs up and away, trying to get him to chase up there, but he lays off.
It's because there's a little bit of tilt in the bat. That tilt allows him to kind of hit the bottom third of the baseball, which is why he has so much power, but you are vulnerable up and away at times.
And then got a piece of the curveball down, so you can see how Morton changes the eye level of a hitter from pitch to pitch.
That breaking ball, you see it so well, and the spin tells you it's going to break, but it's just so slow.
Hang on, I'll be back in a second.
Oh, yes. Wow. What's more impressive, the colors or the balancing act going on?
You want yellow or pink?
Oh, pink for sure.
Swung on and missed, and Morton gets Barger. And the Blue Jays will leave a couple of men on.
Even left the facility. So what are those characteristics? Well, his fastball gets a lot of ride or carry at the top of the zone. He imparts a ton of backspin on the ball. He can also really spin a curveball, obviously. He's at spin rates as high as 3,300 in the minors, 67.5 inches of drop. That would rank within the top 5% of curveball throwers in the majors this year.
Arden, thank you. And generally, he is a starting pitcher. He's made 17 appearances with Buffalo. 16 of them have been starts. And it's interesting, the numbers aren't great at AAA this year. He's 26 years old, and he started pitching professionally in the Blue Jays organization when he was 19. But he had a great outing in his Major League debut a few weeks ago, and he's off to a nice start here today. And he certainly has given the Blue Jays a lot to think about in terms of a depth option. Or, if somebody were to go down with an injury, that sort of thing. Right now, again, just trying to keep him in the game and gobble up as many outs as he can get as he jumps out in front of Tyler O'Neill, 0-2. This is just an on-paper thing, but in Game 1, the Orioles had the established big leaguer in Charlie Morton. The Blue Jays using a couple of guys who they had called up from the minors. It's the inverse in Game 2. Eric Lauer is on the mound for the Blue Jays, and it looks like the Orioles will use Brandon Young, who is their 27th man. They've called him up. They haven't needed him so far in Game 1, so it appears he will start Game 2. And that doesn't mean much of anything, but again, on paper, the Orioles had the pitching advantage, if you will. It looks like the Blue Jays will have it in the second game. So if you're the Blue Jays and you can somehow find a way to, I don't even want to say steal anymore, it's a one-run game, but if you can find a way to win this game. But again, they've got to deploy their resources carefully, what we were talking about before. This kind of a situation, if it gets late and they're down a run, you've got Yariel Rodriguez, you've got Jeff Hoffman, but you probably don't have them for both games. So what do you do? Find out in a couple of innings.
I'm glad I'm not managing. It would be tough because they all count the same. Every win counts the same. And even though you're playing 2 games in one day, as manager John Schneider knows very well, you're trying to win every single game.
O'Neill lines the 3-2 up the middle for a base hit. Download the Sportsnet app for your chance to win tickets, gear. The bottom of the 5th. It's the 4th time in 5 innings the Orioles have gotten the leadoff man on. That's contributed to that feeling of putting pressure on the Blue Jays that it has felt like the entire afternoon. Ramon Urias takes a slider at the top of the zone, 0-1. And a base hit in the first, and one of 4 sac flies the Orioles have in this game. The Major League record, by the way, is 5. Not the most exciting Major League record conversation, I guess, but I mean, they got 4 runs and they've all come on sacrifice flies.
Yeah, and a lot of them have been because of their base running decisions and creating those type of opportunities. It's not like a leadoff triple sac fly, leadoff triple sac fly. They've created some offense with their legs as well.
Fly ball to right. Going back is Barger. He'll make the catch. O'Neill had gone halfway, and he'll retreat to first. Now Cedric Mullins, who has 2 of those 4 sacrifice flies because he's been productive in the first 2 games of this series. He's got 2 hits, 2 sac flies, a walk, and 4 runs driven in. Just missing inside, ball 1.
He's really had a nice career. I remember playing with Cedric when he first got called up to the Orioles, and he was a switch hitter and was more known for his bat-to-ball skills, was kind of slapping the ball the other way and running, elite speed, good defender. He's really found his power stroke over the years.
He had that one phenomenal season, 2021. He was a 30-30 guy, 30 homers, 30 steals, an all-star, a silver slugger. By far the best year that he's had in the majors. Still just 30 years of age. Fly ball high in the air to deep right. Barger back, jumps, and it's off the wall. It will be a double for Mullins as O'Neill comes to third.
Off the bat, it looked like it might be out to right field. Looked like Barger had a little bit more room there in right field. It's only 318 down the line. Might just be a little bit of inexperience at the ballpark. Would love to have seen him kind of continue to drift, use that opposite hand to really try and feel where he's at, sprint over to that ball because of the height instead of drifting. A lot of times the height of the baseball will tell you the speed at which you can approach it. If he was able to really get over there quickly because of the height, he could have really felt his way around that baseball. In return, he jumps and he kind of over jumps it in terms of being distance away from the ball. He had more room to get back there and probably just reach up and grab that. Instead, he jumps with about 3 feet left and ends up over his head. And instead of it being 2 outs with a runner at first, now the Orioles are back in business. They're going to have to bring the infield in because this is 2 big runs out there.
More pressure here. The batter is Kobe Mayo, who is 0 for 2. Curveball for a strike, 0-1. Contact play is on with O'Neill being the runner at third?
I would think they're probably going to see it through.
And late on the fastball, 0-2.
No contact play. And a lot of times as a catcher, you're trying to see that move from the third baseman. As soon as there's a sort of motion moving forward, obviously Mayo makes a pass that fouls it off. The minute you see that pass, you look down as a third at the third base runner to see if his momentum was moving towards home. If it wasn't, he's seeing it through. If it was, he was going contact. All the infielders are very aware of that right now.
0-2. Got it. Elevated a fastball up and away for a big second out.
Really like what I'm seeing from Estrada here. And you need a ground ball to the left side or a punch out, and he goes way up top, and it's a beautiful 2-strike pitch. You're looking for whiff. You're ahead in the count. Try and climb that ladder. Get way up there. I love the miss. Good call by Sanchez. Now you can't let off the gas. You got to really keep on it.
The batter is Colton Cowser, a strikeout and a walk. And that's on the outside corner, a called strike. As Estrada's out in front, 0-1. O'Neill at third, Mullins at second, 2 down. 1-1. Estrada well rested, last pitch 6 days ago with Buffalo. 1-2. Well, giddy up on the fastball.
He's feeling it. You can just tell in his body language. He's bouncing around. He feels good. Picked up his right fielder there with the punch out. You can read body language a lot in this situation. Very easy to kind of be timid and scared, but you can tell he's confident. That's exactly what you want to see from an inexperienced pitcher out there right in the middle of a bit of a jam. Gives you a ton of confidence as a catcher that you can throw that borderline pitch knowing he's going to be fully committed to that and going to execute it.
Ahead 1-2. He got him. Got him to swing over the top of a splitter. Another big out for Lazaro Estrada. He's got a little hop in his step as he comes off the field. He's kept And Ernie Clement will take a curveball outside ball one from Charlie Morton. Clement has grounded out twice today, once to short, once to second. Bounces that one foul, 1-1, and Charlie Morton bound and determined to keep throwing Ernie curveballs down and away and try to get him to roll over on them. Another one. Ground ball to short. And Clement out by his step, one down. Boy, does he see a lot of breaking balls.
And if you get one that nestles kind of middle down, he can pump you to the pull side.
That is the 10th out on the ground for Charlie Morton. Here's Joey Loperfido, 1 for 2. Whatever it was in the left hand or left wrist, it looked like on that slide into home plate where he was tagged out on the double steal attempt. Obviously, he can stay in the game. Takes a fastball down to the knees, 1-1. Now at 85 pitches through 5 1/3. Nobody up in the Baltimore pen. Backdoor curveball, and he gets the call, 2-2. That's kind of the pitch that Loperfido shot to left center for his base hit a couple of innings ago. Elevated fastball that Loperfido fouls off.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Morton uses that breaking ball close to Loperfido. The way his swing works, it's kind of that middle down to in spot that is his nitro zone. Backdoor breakers, up and away fastballs. That's what he's going to see here.
Tried the backdoor breaker, but he missed. Ball 3.
We used to call it keep away approach. Just keep away from him. D.D. Gregorius type, loves to pull the baseball. Keep it away from him.
And into left field, a fair ball. He did it again. Tried to backdoor him with another curveball, and Loperfido's got his second hit of the afternoon.
And that's the biggest change that I've seen from Loperfido. When he was acquired from Houston last year, that pitch right there, he would try to pull, and it usually ends up in a ground ball to the second baseman. But watch how deep he lets that ball get. It's almost as if he started, stopped, hit as he completed his stride, let that ball get another 2-3 inches deeper into the zone and put a great swing on it. Very impressive at bat right there.
So he's at first with one out for Will Wagner, who's 1 for 2. Wagner had a base hit his last time up. Blue Jays now with 8 hits in the game. outside, a ball and a strike. Wagner's hitting over 300 since he got called back up from the minors at the end of June.
Yeah, early on when he showed up, there were quite a few hits that found quite a few holes, but he's really turned in quite a few barrels recently. Hit the ball pretty hard lately.
2 balls and a strike. Told the temperature now here is 37 Celsius. That is 99 Fahrenheit. The humidity, it's 40 Celsius, 104. Yennier Cano is getting up in the Orioles pen to the top of the order, starting to roll around for the Blue Jays. They traded Brian Baker and Gregory Soto, and Felix Bautista's on the IL. So this is a much different looking Orioles bullpen than the Blue Jays would have seen back in April. Count in Wagner's favor at 3-1. Bounces it foul, 3-2.
Looks to me like Wagner's getting the same treatment as Lo Perfido, kind of that backdoor breaking ball, keep away approach. Love that aggressive swing, 3-1. Now you got to try and really cover that outer part of the plate.
Lo Perfido running, and Wagner fouls it off. And again, you like the percentages. Joey runs well, and Wagner makes a lot of contact, so stay out of a double play.
Exactly.
And the make a lot of contact part, that's just as important as a part of the equation as the speed of the runner at first, maybe more. Running again, and it's ball 4. 2 on with 1 out.
Number 20, Ali Sanchez.
Morton probably getting near the end, up to 96 right now. Ali Sanchez comes up in a big spot. Sanchez doubled and scored in the 3rd and struck out in the 4th. Total of 110 big league at-bats over 4 seasons with 4 different teams. Well hit ball to left field. But going back to get it on the track is Cowser. Boy, Sanchez hit that ball hard, but unfortunately for the Blue Jays, Cowser was able to go straight back and make the play.
Yeah, I can tell you about 3 years ago, that ball might have been out or off the wall. He puts a great swing on it. You could tell just the way his little feet were churning. He thought it was going to be over the head of Cowser. Really good route by Cowser, but that's that extension, that wall being pushed back. That would have been an extra base hit for sure a couple years ago before the renovations here.
So 2 down and back to the top of the order for Nathan Lucas, who is 0 for 3. Blue Jays today just 1 for 6 so far with runners in scoring position. The Orioles, a very similar story. They're 1 for 7. The Orioles have left 7 men on. The Blue Jays 4 to this point, or make it 5 to this point. Strike at 96, and it's 1-1. Morton trying to get through 6. To second. Up with it is Westberg, and the Blue Jays will leave 2 more men on. Frustration for Lucas. The Jays still trail.
Love it. Confidence, the pitch mix, his ability to execute. This is exactly what the Blue Jays need right now.
They didn't need that as he hits Alex Jackson with the first pitch here in the bottom of the 6th.
Ball just gets away from Estrada. You can tell he's trying to go the outer half, gets on the side of it. When you get on the side of a baseball like that, it can just continue to tail and continue to tail right into the right-handed hitter.
So that's now 5 times in 6 innings the Orioles have had the leadoff man on. Top of the order, Jordan Westburg, who's 2 for 3, a single and a double. And he's 5 for 8 in the series. This guy gets overlooked a little bit sometimes. You know, you hear a lot about Rutschman, and rightfully so, and Gunnar Henderson, and rightfully so. And Jackson Holliday, a first overall pick, so you always heard a ton about him. This guy's a really good player.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And it's because he's able to cover with such a good plane. He's on plane to the pitch so quickly. There's really only one true spot to go. It's down and in with sink. That's the only way you can get him on the ground typically.
He was a first-round pick, 30th overall back in 2020 out of Mississippi State. Can bounce around the infield a little bit if need be. Was at third base last night, at second base here this afternoon. Sharply hit to third. Wagner to second one, on to first, not in time. They'll get the lead runner, but not turn 2 as Westbrook reaches on a fielder's choice.
It's hit so sharply at third base, one of those positions that Will Wagner sort of gets stuck. You see how he kind of dropped down to try and block it. That's because it was hit so sharply. Had it been hit a little bit more off the end, he would have been able to make a drop step towards that ball or one step to charge it. He kind of got stuck in between, but was sure-handed enough to knock it down and get it out at the lead base.
Now Ramon Laureano, 1 for 3. Estrada's last 2 outings with Buffalo were 63 and 62 pitches. Earlier on in the season, he had thrown as many as 90. It is blocked by Ali Sanchez as the count is now 2-0. So he's at 47 now. So if things go well, he should be able to get through this inning and maybe even get into or possibly through the next inning. Remember, another game coming, and there will be a roster move. Paxton Schultz is here and is going to be activated for the second game of the doubleheader. In all likelihood, Easton Lucas goes back to Buffalo. Estrada's the 27th man, so he is, by rule, on the roster for both games. Not that he can pitch in the second game, but Schultz will definitely be available to give the Blue Jays a little length in the second game, I think. And another hit batter, the second in the inning. And this has come out of nowhere. Don't know if I mean, it's 100 degrees right here. Is he unable to keep his hand dry and get a good grip on the ball? But this has just started all of a sudden.
Yeah, and typically when you start to have that kind of arm side run, something in the mechanics is starting to break down. Typically, for me at least, it screams a little bit of fatigue, or it could be sweat. He's been consistently going behind the mound there to grab the rosin bag. His
And it was 1 for 2 with a walk today, and the one was allowed out to center. Left-handed batter facing a righty in Estrada. At least at this moment, nobody has gotten up in the Blue Jay bullpen. Fastball inside, ball one. Left center field, that is going to get down for a base hit. It will cash in a run. Westberg is in to score. Laureano will round to third on the RBI single by Henderson to make it 5-3.
He's just such a good hitter up in the zone. Watch how flat that bat is. Looks like it's a hanging off-speed pitch. Split that doesn't really get to the bottom, and that acts as a weak batting practice fastball when it doesn't have that type of action. And Henderson doesn't try and do too much. An easy pitch to try and release and get to the pull side. Stays on it. Looked like he was trying to go to the middle part of the field that entire at-bat. They've just continued to pressure. The first game they pressured. This game they have nonstop been able to pressure the Blue Jays.
Here's Tyler O'Neill, who's had a very productive day at the plate. A sac fly in the first, a walk in the third, and a single in the fifth. Deep left center field. And gone. O'Neill's now homered in 4 consecutive games, and he's blown this one open.
Seemed like Estrada was really cruising, and then the leadoff hit by pitch with Jackson, another hit by pitch to Laureano, and just doesn't get away with the hanging breaker up top. And O'Neill is cripple mistake up hitter, and it found the barrel.
A 4-run bottom of the 6th. To blow open a 1-run game. What a day for O'Neill. The Orioles have now scored 19 runs in the first 2 games of the series. And going back to the last game of the Detroit series for the Blue Jays, Caleb, the Blue Jays have now given up 29 runs in their last 3 games. There's a drive to deep center. Off the bat of Arias, and that's gone.
.104 off the bat, 402. Orioles going back-to-back, and it is unraveling quickly here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Just another fastball right over the middle part of the plate. Good swing by Arias to kind of keep this in the mid part of the field. Ball really flies here during the day.
And still nobody up in the bullpen, and that again speaks to how thin the Blue Jays are. They only got 2 1/3 out of Chris Bassett last night. They had to use 5 relievers in that game to cover 5 2/3 innings. Justin Brule was optioned today. Easton Lucas took his spot. Lucas only went 2 2/3, although realistically maybe 3+ or 4 might have been the most you were expecting. And now that it's kind of out of hand here, Estrada's going to be asked to get as many outs as he can, because they just don't have that many arms they can go to if they want to keep guys available for the night game tonight.
And they have to. We talked about it before coming into this series. You kind of look at the temperature, you look at 4 games in a matter of 48 hours for the Blue Jays. You think if you can get 2 out of 4, even against an Orioles team that has really struggled, and keep everyone healthy, you'd be in a good spot. And now it looks like Blue Jays are going to really have to work hard to win 2 and keep everybody healthy, just because of how the bullpen has been taxed so quickly, and it's unbelievable how on a dime you can look like the best team in baseball, and then one flip of a coin you can look like you're not going to win a game the rest of the season.
Yeah, everything was going right heading into the last game Sunday in Detroit. They had won 8 out of 9 coming out of the All-Star break. They were getting the key hits at clutch moments. The starting pitching was great, but that guy's been in the game his whole life. He knows, you know, it's a long season and things can change quickly. I mean, the Tigers are a great example. They were the best team in baseball for a couple of months, and then they lost 12 out of 13. In the air to shallow left center field. Loperfido comes in, and it's in and out of his glove. And Mullins is into second. And he's looking down at that left hand again, the one that he is definitely feeling something in after that play at home plate a few innings ago.
See how far Loperfido has to come. He's not even in the screen yet. Looked like right when he hit, the glove might have kind of bent backwards. Take a look right here. See how kind of jams that left wrist into the ground, trying to get underneath that baseball.
You know, he had it. He still got it.
Dropped.
But it's like maybe there's something in the hand that he can't squeeze the glove closed because of whatever he's feeling in there, and it popped out.
And the length of those outfielders' gloves, typically around 13 and a half inches. A typical infielder's glove, anywhere between 11 and a quarter to 11 and 3/4. And so many times those tips of those big outfield gloves, they can open up a little bit when you try and squeeze them.
One and one now, the count on Kobe Mayo. Swing and a miss, 1-2. And now there is activity in the bullpen. Chad Green, who did not pitch in last night's game, is up. Green last pitched in the bottom of the 8th inning Sunday in Detroit. Gave up 3 runs, and he is up right now. Another play for Loperfido, a fly ball to left, and he will make the catch for the second out. And now Estrada to face Colton Cowser. 2 home runs today in this game mean that the Orioles have now hit multiple home runs against the Blue Jays in 12 consecutive games played in this ballpark. That obviously goes back a couple of years, but boy, have they been knocking around the Blue Jays here at Camden Yards. Also, overall now in 52 home games this year, they've hit 79 home runs here in this ballpark. This one is off the end of the bat, shallow left center field, and it's going to drop. And another run will score. And the Blue Jays have now given up double digits in runs, Caleb, in 3 straight games.
Yeah, not a good sign. And momentum is such an easy thing to see, hard to quantify, but sometimes when it's not going your way, you're going to give up extra base hits. You're going to give up flares off the end of the bat. You're going to hit a batter or two, and before you know it, with an offense that is feeling momentum, that has had its struggles throughout the year, they feel like they're on top of the world. And we've seen the Blue Jays kind of run through these type of innings themselves, feeling that everything goes right. And as a player, you got to just find a way to put a tourniquet on the bleeding. You got to make a play, make a diving play, make a great pitch to kind of suppress this pressure.
Now Alex Jackson, who led off this inning and was hit by a pitch. One of 2 hit batters this inning by Estrada. 0-2. Bounces away from Sanchez, but not far.
You know, we sort of saw this type of effort from the Blue Jays once they realized they were sellers. The pressure kind of came off the Blue Jays. They started playing really free. They've got nothing to lose. Seems like the Orioles are kind of right in the middle of that type of window. It's amazing what expectations do. You know, when the expectations were high here in Baltimore to start the season, I'm not sure they were able to put together an inning like this. They were really struggling with the pitching. They were struggling to string together quite a few hits. They were injured quite often.
Swing and a miss, and finally the inning is over, but the Orioles blow it open. They score 6 times and now lead.
Gonna try and get him in the zone. He's struggled with command, but for many years he was kind of a big piece of that back end of the bullpen during winning seasons for the Orioles.
Davis Schneider, the first batter to face him, and he takes a strike on the inside corner. Schneider had an infield hit in the third to drive in a run. It was a one-run game going to the bottom of the sixth. Schneider lines one into left, a base hit. So his second hit of the afternoon. Filling in at DH in this game for George Springer. Again, for those who haven't heard, Springer is okay and conceivably could even be in play for the night game tonight. So that's good news. That could have been a whole lot worse. Here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who is 1 for 2 with a walk. Had a base hit his last time out. Just off the corner, ball one. High drive to right center field. It'll be caught out there by Tyler O'Neill. One down. Now Bo Bichette, 1 for 2 with a walk. The one was really a pop-up to shallow right. Jordan Westbrook, the second baseman, went back and lost the ball in the sun. And it fell in behind him and in front of the right fielder, Tyler O'Neill. Fastball for a strike. Ground ball to short. To second 1. The first 2. 7th inning stretch in Baltimore. 10-3 Orioles. This is 3 tough games in a row right now for this team. They are losing 10-3, and with the heat and with another game tonight, John Schneider's made a lot of defensive changes. We'll tell you about those in a moment. But first, Chad Green on to pitch.
And a mixed bag for Chad Green this season. I'll tell you what's really been the thorn in his side. It's been the home run. He's given up 12 homers this season. There have been times when he's looked elite, unhittable, and then there have been other times when he's really struggled to keep the ball in the ballpark.
Jordan Westbrook leads it off for the Orioles. He is 2 for 4. The other thing that John Schneider has done is he's gotten Bo Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. out of the game. In his mind, and it's hard to disagree, thinking about the next game. They are down 7 right now. It is incredibly hot. And the likelihood of them winning this one at this point is slim, so you get a couple of guys off their feet for the next 45 minutes or so, whatever it is. So Will Wagner's gone to first. Ernie Clement's gone to short. Leo Jimenez is in at second. Addison Barger, who was in right, has come in to play third. Nathan Lucas has gone to right, and Miles Straw is now in the game in center. So only Loperfido in left and Sanchez behind the plate are still in there at the same positions. Barger gets tested right away, and it's in and out of his glove, and Westbrook's going to reach.
It is unbelievable how many times you come in as a defensive replacement or move positions on the field that the ball will find you. I love how he tried to extend for this ball off the bat of Westbrook, but incredible how many times in the first 2 or 3 batters the ball will find you.
That'll be a base hit for Westbrook, his 3rd of the game, his 6th in the 2 games. And here's Laureano to take ball 1. Fastball popped up right side and well back into the seats. Ground ball up the middle and through. Past the diving Clement at short, and it's first and second, nobody out. Boy, this game can't end soon enough if you're the Blue Jays.
That's exactly right. Last thing you want to do is continue to burn pitchers in that bullpen. Orioles have done it multiple ways in this game. They've drawn some free passes via the hit by pitch. Singles, doubles, 2 homers. This looks like the offense I think that Mike Elias and company really kind of envisioned continuing. This is what they've shown for the past couple of years that they're capable of.
Gunnar Henderson sends the first one to deep center. It's gone. An absolute rocket to make it 13-3.
He's really swung the bat well today. 417 feet to right center field. He's got such a flat bat that he's really good at the top of the zone. We talked about Green having trouble keeping the ball in the ballpark. A strong young man like that barrels a baseball here at Camden Yards. Later part of the summer, it's going to travel.
Oh, and Chad Green's trouble with the long ball continue. 13-3. Here's Tyler O'Neill. He homered his last time out. They're now into by score, position player can pitch territory. So maybe we'll see that in the bottom of the 8th. You know, this is a team that has been so together and so resilient and so confident. And so many things have been going right for them until the last 3 days when everything has gone wrong. And you just want to turn the page and get to the night game, but they got to find a way to win a couple of games here in Baltimore if they can.
These types of losses will have lingering effects. It's one thing to lose a game 4-3 and you've played well, or lose a game 6-5 as John Schneider knows, and you have a lot of your game buttoned up, and if you just essentially lose the game. But I guarantee you they're going to look back at these last 3 games and just they'll feel sloppy about it. And it's just not how the Blue Jays have played this entire season, really. And there's so many ebbs and flows during a season, and you got to kind of maintain that level-headedness. Had a manager one time say, you're never as good as you think you are, and you're never as bad as you think you are. Try and stay in that middle, but it's easy to ride that high.
Swing and a miss as Green gets O'Neill. Today's game is brought to you in part by the Bad Guys. Face Ramon Urias, who homered his last time out. And may have done it again. He has. The Orioles now with 10 runs in the last 2 innings.
Floodgates are open. This is a team that has nothing to lose. They're playing free. You at some point start to feel for Chad Green. He's been such a consummate pro over the years, and I've been there before with many a pitcher. They feel like they're hitting their spots. That's not a terrible pitch. That's at the top of the zone.
You know, a guy who for years pitched in pretty high leverage situations on really good teams with the Yankees.
I faced him. He was a brutal at bat. 98, 99 at the top of the zone. I mean, I did not want to see him coming out of the bullpen. And especially when you make your pitch in the zone that you think that you've typically gotten whiff at. That's what is kind of a bit baffling as it pertains to Green.
This one to left center, and it's playable for local field. Mullins retired. You know, I think a lot of people will forget this, but last year, Chad Green had 17 saves for this team. Jordan Romano spent most of the year on the IL, and granted, the team was kind of out of contention for the most part, but he was the closer for about half the season. It's just been never been able really to get in a groove. He had that one little stretch, the first Yankee series, the 4-game sweep. He had 3 big appearances in that series, 3 scoreless outings, but other than little pockets here and there, it's just been a struggle.
Remember watching that series thinking, man, he must have really found something, whether it was something in his body, how he was feeling, and obviously it really just hasn't been able to translate any consistency. That home run in St. Louis really stands out to me, the Arenado home run. It was a pitch probably 2-3 inches up in the zone, and Arenado just took it deep to left field, and I've never seen Chad Green give up a homer on a 95, 96 mile per hour fastball at the top above the zone like that.
A couple of strikes on the Oriole first baseman Kobe Mayo, who's 0 for 4. And a fastball away, ball 1. To center field, Straw is there and will make the catch to end the inning. 14-3 Baltimore at the end of 7.
Change-up. He's actually slugging over 100 points higher against off-speed this year than he is against fastballs.
And 7 of his 15 home runs have come on off-speed pitches, which includes change-ups and splitters. He leads off here in the 8th inning. The new pitcher is Yaramil Geraldo, who was just called up today by the Orioles. He had been with them, was sent down just a few days ago, and then was called up because Colin Selby, who pitched in the game last night for the Orioles, went on the IL with a hamstring strain. Hits this one hard down the right field line. Foul, says the first base umpire, James Jean. Will they challenge? They will. So, yeah, it's 14-3, but Barger deserves a double. Get Barger a double.
Arbitration doesn't care what the score was.
Yeah.
They all matter. It's really, really close right there. You can see that kind of piece of dirt flying up. Obviously not going to be chalk flying up because it's in the grass. That's where the outfield grass is painted with the white paint. You're at first base as the umpire, and that ball is right over your head from the lefty. You got to kind of turn around, and you're kind of looking in a zone. You're not following it. You're not tracking it because it's hit so hard. You're turning around and just kind of looking right down the line. And he emphatically said no, it was foul, but you're looking at a certain spot. You're guessing where you think that ball is going to land, and sometimes it's happening so quickly, your eyes can kind of go deeper or closer to where you think it's going to land.
After review, the call on the field stands, foul ball, run loose their count.
Call stands, foul ball. So it is 1-2 on Barger, with Clement and Loperfido coming up after him this inning. Up and away, 2-2. A couple of defensive changes, by the way, for the Orioles. Dylan Carlson is in the game in right. Tyler O'Neill is out. And Jackson Holliday has replaced Gunnar Henderson at short. Popped him up. And it'll be a play for the third baseman, Urias. One down.
Shortstop number 22.
Now Ernie Clement, who has moved from second to short. Again, a lot of defensive changes for the Blue Jays to get Bichette and Guerrero out of the game once it got out of hand. Ernie 0 for 3 on 3 groundouts. Since this one foul out of play, it's 0-2. Players are pretty good at flushing them sometimes. This one needs a flush.
Hey, a quick one, too. A quick flush.
Yep.
That next game's going to come pretty quickly.
Yep. 6:35, first pitch. Eric Lauer will be on the mound for the Blue Jays. And we think it'll be Brandon Young, the 27th man, who's going to start for the Orioles.
I think it's a big game for him. I really do.
I agree. Pick up a win tonight, and then you say, okay,
Yep.
but you lose 3 in a row, and you're looking at the possibility of a 4-game sweep with a day game tomorrow, and that's
Then your 5 losses in a row. And
They did get a break on the out-of-town scoreboard last night. The Yankees lost and the Red Sox lost, so entering play today still 5.5 and 6.5. And if you're looking up at the top of the standings, the Tigers won, but the Astros lost. So 3 of the 4 really relevant teams to the Blue Jays in the standings lost last night. But obviously, you don't want to depend on other teams losing.
you want to be control of your destiny.
Hooked down the right field line, and that's a foul ball by maybe a foot. Loperfido 2 for 3 today, despite some obvious discomfort in his left hand from that play at the plate earlier. Swings through it, 2-2. Again, wringing out his left hand after that swing. Or they lose Kirk to the IL. Springer gets hit in the ear flap yesterday and fortunately, thankfully, dodged a bullet and again may even play tonight. Loperfido now dealing with something. High fly ball to right field. How about this? Loperfido has hit it out. So in the grand scheme of things in this game, obviously it doesn't mean much, but for him to put together this kind of a day when he's obviously dealing with something, kudos to him as he hits his third home run of the season as a Blue Jay.
Yeah, just a nice overall day for Loperfido, and he buys himself an inside pitch because he went to the opposite field twice against Morton. 2 base hits, once in the fourth, one in the sixth, and as a catcher, you're going, I don't really want to keep giving him singles to left. He tries to go inside, pulls that baseball. He's covering a multitude of different zones right now. Really good game for him. Talked about how his bat path kind of moves closer to that down and in spot. This one's not down, but it's in, and it's on plane early, and it stayed through that zone. That's one of the best swings I've seen from Loperfido in a long time. Didn't have that high finish that creates topspin.
Will Wagner grounds one up the middle. A great stop out at second by Westberg, but Wagner's going to beat it out for his second hit of the ballgame.
Catcher number 20,
One thing on Loperfido as he came back into the dugout, you saw he was fist bumping everybody with his right hand. He had his left hand kind of tucked in front of his stomach, and he's got something going on.
The good thing from a left-hander's perspective is that left hand is the top hand. A lot of that pull and direction's coming from the bottom hand, which would be his right hand. Do a lot of things right to keep that ball fair, hit it that far.
Ali Sanchez, the batter, got the start behind the plate here in day one. Tyler Heineman will be starting tonight with Eric Lauer on the mound. Sanchez 1 for 3, doubled and scored back in the third. That was the first run of the game for the Blue Jays. One and one. Now 1-2. Up shallow right center field, and coming in to make the catch is Carlson. And that retired the side. They get the run on the home run by Loperfido. Time now for a Blue Jay Central update with Jamie and Madison in the Home Hardware Studio.
Hope that the opposition hits into some outs. But it looks totally different from that catcher's perspective. And then you get on that mound, and I promise you that hitter looks way closer as when you're behind the plate. And you have nothing to defend yourself against. Some powerful bats.
Colton Cowser will lead it off. 1 for 3 with a walk. An RBI single in the 6th. This is popped up in foul territory. Wagner will not have a play.
Put your name on it. Let's go.
To right field and off the wall. Lucas has it. Cowser into second.
That looks hot. Those outfits, that looks hot.
Yeah.
Wow. That's commitment. I would not be wearing that. No shot.
Here's Alex Jackson. So with the night game, Eric Lauer is going to start. Paxton Schultz will be on the roster. And Jeff Hoffman and Yariel Rodriguez, we know those two guys are going to be available. Anybody else, we're not sure. But hopefully that and some good offense, enough to get the Blue Jays to a victory. And when all of a sudden, boy, do they really need one. It's only 3 in a row, but it's 3 ugly ones in a row.
You just can't let doubt creep in.
Right.
You can be as confident as you want, and when you compound really ugly losses together, holy Evis, 35. Wow. Elite pitchability from Sanchez here. Watch him just pull the string. I mean, wow.
Not funny for Jackson,
No.
but in a game that hasn't provided a lot of laughs for the
Sure.
Blue Jays, some of them might have gotten a chuckle there. Westberg lines one into the alley in left center. That'll bring in Cowser. It'll be an RBI double for Westberg, who's having a monster couple of games, and it's 15-4.
That's catcher on catcher crime right there. I mean, do it to someone else. Do it to Westberg or Laureano, not catcher on catcher. I thought there was a code of conduct there.
Too hot for a code of conduct. Outside, ball 1 to Ramon Laureano. Foul down the left field line. Here it comes. 34. 34.
With Heineman trying to frame it. I love it.
Fly ball to right. Lucas back, and he's got to play this one off the wall. It'll be a long single for Laureano. Westberg will go to third. The Orioles aren't going to push anything on the bases right now, given the margin. One of those days. Jackson Holliday's first at bat of the game. the air to left, and Loperfido tracking it and makes the catch. Westberg will come in to score. That'll be the 5th sacrifice fly of the game for the Orioles to tie a Major League record, and it makes it 16-4. And now Dylan Carlson gets his first at bat. He came on defensively last half inning. Popped up foul, back out of play, and it's 0-2.
It's all going to start on the mound in game 2 of this doubleheader with how they can kind of stop this negative momentum, and Eric Lauer's the perfect guy on the mound.
Couple of runs in the bottom of the 8th, 16-4, going top 9 at Camden Yards. Pitch at 6:35 Eastern Time. Blue Jay Central will come your way at 6 Eastern. Nathan Lucas is going to lead it off here in the 9th inning. They fell behind early. We're down 2-0 after 1. Got a run back in the 3rd, but Easton Lucas gave up 2 more in the bottom of the 3rd, so it was 4-1. As Lucas has had a tough game 1 here. He's now 0-5. Addison Barger hit a home run to make it 4-3. And it stayed that way through 5, but then Lazaro Estrada, who had been really good for the first 2 1/3 innings, had struck out 5. I mean, it unraveled on him in the 6th. A couple of hit batters early in the inning, a couple of home runs late in the inning. And then they scored 4 more on a couple of homers off Chad Green in the bottom of the 7th. That great stretch that they were on has given them a bit of a cushion, which is the good news, but you don't want to see too much of it whittled away. There is still a ton of baseball to be played. Maybe the trade deadline coming at a good time, because I think everybody assumes a body or 2 or 3 is walking through those doors at some point. Might not be till Friday when the Blue Jays get back home. The deadline's on Thursday, but maybe a little boost with a couple new faces in there will perk everybody up. A win will perk everybody up.
For sure. Gotta steady the ship.
Swing and a miss. Heineman, because he had to come into the game so Sanchez could pitch. Heineman winds up getting an at-bat here in this game as he strikes out. 2 down here in the 9th.
Yeah, got to be able to find a way to kind of shut down this Orioles offense. Hopefully Lauer can kind of put up some zeros, allow the Blue Jays to get ahead and start to feel that momentum, start building innings like they've done so many times this season.
They scored 4 runs on 11 hits last night and 4 runs on 11 hits here today. So it's not like the offense has been terrible. Obviously, run prevention has been the big issue. 4 runs on 11 hits, you're going to win, win some, lose some, right? But run prevention has been the big problem here in these 2 games. And a liner to third. Miles Straw is retired, and that's the ball game. As the Orioles clubbed the Blue Jays 16-4 to make it 2 in a row and hand the Blue Jays their 3rd consecutive loss.
Got to be able to turn the page real quickly. Hopefully the boys can get in there and reset, but it's going to have to be in convincing fashion. Otherwise, this little bit of a run can start to snowball. Doubt is always in there, especially if you haven't done it in the recent future. And so I know that's a very confident group going in there. They're probably not thinking too much about it, but they've got to come out here in game 2, get a great start from Lauer. They've got to really pressure the Orioles, get out to a lead. They've been really good when they've gotten out to the first score of the game. You got to find a way to keep these Oriole bats cooled off because they have been red hot this entire season.
We will be back with you just about 3 hours from now for first pitch of that game. Right now it's time for Blue Jays.